Yes, I'm good. I'm good. All right, webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. Thanks for the notification, Facebook. All right, awesome. So here we are on the couch, and I'm super. I'm good. I'm good. All right, webinar is now streaming live on Facebook. Thanks for the notification. All right, it was just I was in double audio. I'm super excited because. This is our very first episode of The Couch, which I've been thinking up for a really long time. I'll get rid of my glasses so we don't have reflection, but I've been thinking about this for a while, and I guess it really did start with Janelle, who's my very first guest tonight, and I thought about it a few months ago, and her work schedule was crazy then, and it wasn't allowing us to coincide evenings, so it kind of sat on the back burner for a while, and as you guys know, I have since had baby Ivy, and she's going to be 6 weeks on Wednesday. And it gave me a lot of time. I've spent a lot of time out. I've had 4 weeks pretty much where I vanished. And I thought this is something I really want to do because for a lot of you who've been watching my journey for a really long time know that, 4.5 years ago, I was so frustrated. I was training hard. I was eating clean. I was doing everything right. And nothing was really allowing me to lose those last few kilos. And I found a nutritional cleanse system that completely changed my life, which is Isagenix. What started as a health journey very quickly became something that I'm like, everybody needs this in their body. I felt so amazing. I'd done everything under the sun. And I knew that fundamentally, like I was waking up with energy. I had heaps, afternoon slumps were a thing of the past. I had toned up like never before. And I knew that there had to be, like, it was different to anything else I'd ever done before. So I ran with it. You guys know my lifestyle has completely changed. This is what I do. And what I love most about this is the ripple effect that this allows. And the reason I really wanted to launch this off with Janelle is because she has just shared her beautiful story in Brisbane in front of lots of thousands of people. I'm not even sure the final count that were there, but several thousands of people. And Janelle's been, involved with our team for the last 2 years almost. But the journey really did start a little bit before that for her. So I'm really excited for her to be my very first guest because, like I said, this ripple effect is something that, a lot of people will start their health journey, but they'll keep it very quiet and private, and they won't, they feel a little bit scared to share it with people. Now, I guess this is something that I realize is, Janelle and I didn't know each other at all before this. We still don't know each other super well. We see each other at events and, Janelle's a friend of mine, but if I didn't share what I was doing with a friend of mine who I went to school with, who then shared it with her friend who she had gone to school with, who then shared it with his wife, Janelle wouldn't be sitting here with me today on our different couches on the different side of Melbourne, with her life completely and her health completely changed in every which way, which is why I'm so passionate about not only sharing this, but, helping everybody share this because it's something that is life-changing, and I don't say that lightly. So I said enough. I want to welcome Janelle. Thank you for being with me tonight.
Thank you for having me.
So as I said, you were, I was just sitting here in Melbourne with tears down my face. I know I sent you some ugly crying selfies, watching you live share your story. And I so wish I could have been there, but little Ivy needed me here. But I guess I really want to share, I want others to hear this. And I know that you're really passionate about sharing this journey as well. So why don't we just start with, maybe you taking me back to where this did all start for you?
All right. So I just actually had Emily, and Phil had been on the program for 2 months. And I was still pregnant with Emily when I was watching Phil's results. And I was like, do you know what? I need to do something after I have the kids, like after I have Emily. And I was like, look, you're having awesome results on this. I need to get on this. So I actually ordered my pack while I was still pregnant with Emily. But I didn't start.
Meanwhile, you had Blake, and how old was he?
He was 13 months.
Okay, so let's picture this.
So they're 14 months apart, Blake and Emily.
Yeah.
So they're very close in age, but they're at a good age now where they're very much loving on each other. But yes, I was watching Phil and he was having awesome results, and I was like, oh, I need to have this there when I'm not pregnant anymore, because I had chronic morning sickness, 24 hours, 7 days a week, so couldn't keep anything down. So that's why I didn't start while I was pregnant. But yeah, so I ordered my pack. I think I was 8 months pregnant when I ordered it. I was like, nah, I need it sitting in the house. When I get the okay, I'm going to start. And that's what I did. I was like 4 weeks after having Emily, I started, and I couldn't believe my weight, because I actually got weighed at the doctor's. And I was like, when he put me on the scales, I was like, no way. And he's like, yeah. I was like, okay. I was like 153.9 kilos. I was like, that to me was a shock and a half. I was just like, no. And he's like, yep. So 4 weeks after having Emily, I was huge. And I was like, I knew I was big while I was pregnant, but I thought I would have dropped some of it before I started. But yeah, that was a major shock to the system, that one.
That's crazy. So you're brand new mum, like you're 4 weeks, you've got this little baby girl that's even shorter time than I've had Ivy, and I'm still in this baby bubble, I feel. And the doctor was like, all right, this is your weight. And it was a bit of a reality check for you.
Yeah.
So prior to the doctor giving you that number, I know that you had said to me some time ago, we were chatting, and you said, I didn't realize that I was that big. What did you see your life as at that time?
Life was hard, like it was, I won't lie. But I didn't, people would tell me that I was putting on weight. Like when we moved home from Perth, people would say I'd put on weight, but you don't actually you can't tell someone they've put on weight, because I wasn't seeing it in the mirror. Like I knew I was putting on weight, but I think emotionally I was putting myself in this big denial hole that it was happening. And because I think I sort of just came to this realization that that's how my life was going to be. And whether people were telling me I was like, I think I sort of was just ignoring it to go, nope, because this is how my life is going to be. I can't find anything to help me lose it. And the last thing I wanted to do was get surgery. So I think at that point I was just like, no, this is how my life's going to be. And that's what I envisioned for myself for the rest of my life. And now I'm so glad I didn't.
Designed yourself to that fact. So how did Isagenix find you? How did that happen?
So Phil's brother had actually been on the products and he was having amazing results.
So let me just, for everyone who's watching, Phil is your amazing husband. He has been on his own journey as well, and he's lost 30 plus kilos, which really is in the shadows of your over 60 kilos now. But he's had his own phenomenal transformation. So he was using the products before you, and he was introduced by his brother. And then you were watching, and you said you were going to start, after Emily was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So his brother had amazing results. We were saying no to him. I don't know how many times we said no to Brett. But and then we ended up signing up under Christy, who's under you, that you're friends with. And yeah, so Phil went to high school with Christy. And that's how we got in contact with Christy, through that. And then I actually ordered Phil's pack for him because he was grumpy. And I was like, okay, you've got to do something. I was like,
how did he take that? I've had a few people order them for their family and friends, and it's hit and miss.
He was all right with it, I think, because he just wanted something to change. And I was like, look, what we're doing now isn't helping us, so what's the harm in giving it a go? I was like, because the main thing that was for us was the money back guarantee. I was like, if you don't like it, we send it back. No stress, no harm. And
that's really real. I just want to touch on that, because when I heard that, I was like, as if it doesn't work, they're going to send my money back. And it's true, like they do, but it works. What in my experience of starting hundreds of people up, it works for everyone who does it properly.
Yes, you've got to follow it. If you don't follow it, you're not going to have the results that you want, because really the only person in the end that can do it is yourself. It's like, we can help you.
Yeah.
And we can guide you, but we can't physically put the products into your body for you. But for me, watching him, and he has had an amazing an amazing transformation. And yeah, me losing 60 now, double what he's lost, it sort of overshadows him, the poor thing.
So, okay, so you were on stage because you hit the 100-pound club, which, Isagenix is an American company. We're in our 16th year this year, and it's been 10 years in Australia. So we still have the 100-pound club, even though we work in kilos, which is a huge honour to be a part of that, and especially being able to share your story in front of thousands of people. Let's go back to, when you made that line in the sand. What was it for you when you're like, enough's enough? Like, what was that real line in the sand? Not like, oh, I've got to do something. What was that defining moment?
It was actually when I'd had Emily, I was sitting there in the hospital with her. Phil had gone home to help with Blake. And I just sat there and went, I need to do something, not for me at the time. It wasn't for me, but I didn't want to be that fat mum. And I actually had a cry in the hospital going, I don't want to be that mum sitting on the sidelines, like watching my kids play sport at 160 kilos. Because I was like, that's how I saw myself going. I was only going to rise in weight, not come down. So for me, the only thing that mattered to me was doing it for them. Because I wanted to be an active mum for them. I wanted to be able to take them out. Because I was I did nothing. There was days where I didn't come out of my pajamas. So to go out anywhere was the hardest thing for me. I didn't want to go out. I would sit at home in my pajamas and I'd be like, Phil, you go out. I've got nothing to wear. I don't feel comfortable. So there was always an excuse for me, always. Like, no matter when we had a family event, I reckon there would have been at least an hour of tears before I went anywhere. And getting dressed, I would have to get dressed at least an hour and a half before because I would get so flustered and so worked up that I couldn't actually walk out the door as soon as I was ready. I'd had to have time to calm down from being so upset. And like I'd always, no matter when we were going out, I'd always have a fight with Phil. Because it was just, yeah.
I'm getting emotional. You're saying that again, and I've heard it all because, that's not a laugh. Like
no,
you were existing.
Yeah, I always say that I was existing. I wasn't living. I was just existing. And a lot of my family don't know that that's how I felt. So, like family and friends, like I used to hate having to go anywhere. And it was a big deal for me to walk out of that house, no matter where we were. So, yeah, just to walk out that front door, even to go get groceries was hard.
Which is probably the one thing of the week that you kind of have to do. Like there's only a few times you got to leave the house, and having food in the house is important. So
that's why I ended up turning to takeaway. Because I didn't have to leave my car.
So tell me a bit about that. I know you touched on it the other day, and I know there's some things that you really want to. You feel that you're at a space to share now, after your confidence boost of sharing some things on stage. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I shared on stage that I ate KFC most days, and that because Phil and I always had conflicting rosters, I always found we always had takeaway. I reckon there was maybe one night a week that I cooked and it wasn't healthy. It was probably fried chicken or something. But most days I actually became Phil only found this out last week, so he was new to it. I actually became a closet eater. That's what I called myself. So I wouldn't eat at work all day because there were some days where I wouldn't eat, or I'd walk over to KFC and eat it there. So I wasn't eating in front of people because I didn't want people to judge me, to go, oh my God, Janelle's eating KFC again. Yeah. But for me, I used to go home on the way home from work, and I used to go through a drive-through most nights. So before I got home, and then I'd throw it out in the car park.
Wow.
And that's how I was living my life. And then we'd go down the shops and buy chips, and Coke and alcohol and chocolate, but it wasn't just a block of chocolate. There was bags of lollies in there, and there was just, but that's how I was living. And for me, looking back now, I go, what was I doing? How was I doing that? Like, I needed the sugar to get me through most of my days, because if I didn't have that, I couldn't. Like, going to work was a struggle. Like, there were some weeks where I was doing like 60-hour weeks, and I don't know how I did it. Like, there were some days I was going to work at 5 a.m. and not getting home till 8:30, like some nights, and it was just, I don't know. Pardon?
Just going through the motions of existing and doing what you had to do.
Yeah, just to get us through. So it was easier. And like, even when we did get takeaway, I would send Phil down the street because I didn't want to go out.
Oh, that's so heartbreaking.
Yeah.
You were saying you also shared something that, you know, had the whole audience just like, there was a big across the board when you were sharing on stage about your addiction with fizzy drinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so I had a bit of an addiction. Well, I wouldn't say a bit. I would say, yes, it was a hell of a lot. I would drink 24 cans of Pepsi Max every 2 to 3 days, sometimes every 2 days. And I always had one on my bedside table.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, water didn't exist for me. It was Pepsi. That was
your thirst quencher.
Yep, every time.
I was thinking the other day, when you're having 24 cans over a couple of days, even though you were in this rut, you would have known that that's not normal behavior.
Oh, everything I was doing.
Sorry?
Everything I was doing.
So, I guess, you're right. You know, even having maybe KFC every day or takeout every day, it's like, well, I need to eat a meal. But having that many cans of soft drink is pretty intense. So what was it? How did you justify that in your mind then?
I think I just went with it. Like, that was how I lived. So I knew it was wrong. Like, you know when you're doing it that it's not the best. But for me, it was natural to open it and have one. Like, it wasn't like I felt bad doing it, or it was just such a natural part of who I was. Like, you wanted to see our garage. It was just a wall of Pepsi. And
toilet paper, because I know Phil's really scared of running out of toilet paper.
And toilet paper.
I was looking at my cupboard today. I'm like running a bit low. Like, Phil would not be happy with this.
No, our garage has no Pepsi in it now. It's
plenty of toilet paper.
Plenty of toilet paper and a wall of nappies.
Yes, right. Okay. Lucky I've got a shed for that. I'm yet to know how many I'm going to need. Look, thank you for sharing that, because I know that a lot of that is very fresh for you to be sharing. And I also know you're very passionate about helping other people now, because you can see the ripple effect, because I think we've sort of spoken about it. Like, I'm not taking a speck of credit for your transformation, but because of the system that we've got and the way it's distributed, you can't buy it in a store. And if I kept my mouth shut, we wouldn't be chatting now. And who knows, and this was your words, if you didn't find it, where would you be today? So thank you for sharing that and trusting in, well, your husband, of course, but Christy as well. And, you know, for him to say yes as well, because it all came from posts on Facebook. I mean, going back to school, I hadn't spoken to Christy for a number of years. Phil and Christy hadn't spoken for quite some time. So it was really just sharing on Facebook and our journeys and being really open and honest and raw about what we were doing, which led to that. So I want to get to what your life has been like since. So you put the products in your body. What happened?
Oh my gosh.
So this is, so when was the first moment you popped them in your body?
It was, I think it ended up being 2 weeks after having Emily. So she was born on the 17th of June. I started on, I think it was the 27th of June. I'm pretty sure.
So June 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're just almost 2 years.
Yeah.
You're at your heaviest. You're like, I need to do something. What happened?
My first 3 days were my hardest 3 days, because I went completely cold turkey on getting rid of soft drink.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, so I was like adamant that I wasn't going to have a can. I was like, if I'm going to get healthy, I need to cut it out. So we actually just completely got rid of it. I threw full cans in the rubbish bin.
Great.
So I just went, nah, we need to get it out of the house. Let's get it out of the house. I don't care.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm starting. And that's how I started with getting, because I've had so many people, how did you take the Pepsi Max out of the equation? And I was like, well, I went completely cold turkey. People do it with smoking. That was my addiction, soft drink. And yeah, it is. It's a sugar addiction. And I know that now. And even when I have it now, like, I'm like, oh my gosh, no. It makes me so thirsty.
Yeah.
Which is the complete opposite of how I used to feel. But so my first 30 days, it was a complete transformation. Within my first 7 days, I had so much more energy. I was like, I know I said all this on stage the other day, but that is how I physically felt. I was focusing.
Well, I want you to say it again, because everyone who was there is already involved and they're using the program. But there's a lot of people who have been watching your journey from afar, my journey from afar, and they know there's some, like, you know, your friends would very much be like, oh, well, Isagenix is really only for people who need to lose a substantial amount of weight.
But it's not.
But that's what, you know, they only know you.
They only see me.
Yeah. And then, you know, I guess my network see me and they're like, oh, well, you know, Deanna didn't need to lose that much, because I didn't had to lose that much to start with, but I always struggled keeping my weight where it was prior. And now I'm seen as the fitness person, which is interesting because I am a champion for pizza and the drink on the weekend and absolute balance. I'm a big advocate of life. So I'd love for you to share, you know, what happened when you know, in your first 30 days, and then what happened once you did put them in.
Can I share weights and everything?
Yeah, go for it. And for everyone listening, everyone's journeys is very different. I have people who ask me, you know, how much am I going to lose in my 30 days, because it works in 30-day blocks. And I say, honestly, everyone's different, because, you know, everyone's bodies are different. Everyone has different amounts to lose. People do different amounts of exercise. People drink different amounts of water or Pepsi Max, different amounts of rest and sleep, and people's bodies respond differently. So these are Janelle's results. They're not typical, but everyone does have. So go for it. I want to hear the numbers.
So my first 7 days, I lost 7.5 kilos.
Not bad. It's not bad.
Just a few, you know. It was just a lazy 7. And then for the whole 30 days, for my first 30 days, I lost 11 kilos.
Wow.
So after losing 11 kilos, it was almost losing a couple of bags of flour off my back. That's how I say it is, because it was like I actually tried 11 kilos worth of flour at the supermarket on my back after I'd lost it. And I was like, wow, okay, I've just lost that.
Yeah.
And then to day 60, I actually don't know what I lost to day 60. I can say day 90. So day 90, I lost 21 kilos in my first 90 days.
21 kilos in your first 90 days of making a decision.
Yeah. So I was like, that was the biggest turning point for me, because I wasn't allowed to exercise in the first 2 months because I just had a cesarean with Emily and things like that. So it was all very light. If we did anything, it'd be a little walk down the street. We started off with going to just the corner and back. So it wasn't a lot, because I did no exercise before, and I had 153 kilos on my back that was pushing down on my knees.
Crazy.
So that hurt a lot. But after the first 30 days, my energy started to really increase, and that's when we started walking a little bit further, and it got further and further. And by the end of 90 days, we were doing nearly a 5K walk around where we live.
Wow.
And I was just pushing the 2 kids in the pram, pushing a 20-kilo pram as well. That's how much weight I used to have on me. And I'm like, wow.
I was just going to say, you know, you still got a newborn and a toddler. Well, not even, like,
yeah.
Like classified as a toddler by that age? I don't know. Like,
I think you did.
Yeah, okay. So, you know, you've got 2 babies.
Yeah.
2 under 2. It's, you know, that's amazing. So you lost all that weight with it, because I know a lot of times, and I have a lot of mums that I work with, and they're like, you know, I'm too busy, or it's not the right time. And sometimes even they'll like, oh, I don't want to do this, I've really got to focus on my baby, or I need to spend money on this. But it's like, well, this is where I think it's really important in terms of being the mum that you wanted to be. You had to put yourself first for them to be put first.
Yeah. It's not being, I don't find it, like at the time I felt like I was being a bit selfish because I did have Blake and Emily, but I think after about 2 weeks I sort of went, no, I'm not being selfish. I'm doing this for them, because I was like, I may not have been around in 3 years at the rate I was going. And that's what I was worried about. I was like, they need their mum. And I was like, if I'm not going to be here, what are they going to have? Just the memory of me? And I was like, I don't want that. And with the rate that I was going, I was pretty down in the dumps. I had I call them my dark days, because there was so many times where I just went, all right, well, this is what it's going to be. I was like, and then when I did have that turnaround and that first 30 days, everything changed for me. And I went, no, my kids are actually going to have that mum I want to be now. And my first 30 days were so significant for me, just to be able to go, like I had a lot of teary moments in that first 30 days. Actually, my first 90 days I did, and Phil can attest to that, because I couldn't believe the changes that I was doing for my kids. And I was in the end putting them first with me losing weight.
Yes.
Never being selfish. You need to be there for them.
Yeah.
That's the way I always saw it. And if I didn't start, who knows? But I was like, after that 90 days, I just went, I've got this. And then I could start exercising. So it was good. So I actually joined a gym. And then I hated the gym. The gym just wasn't for me. But I stuck with the gym for about, I think it was 3 months.
Yeah.
And then, because I was still quite heavy, and then one day I said to Phil, I'm going to get the courage up and go try reformer Pilates.
Which I know you love.
Everyone that follows me on my Facebook would know I love Pilates. So I started off with just one. So this was about, I think, 5 months, maybe 6 months into starting with Isagenix. And I'd seriously just gone from going to the gym to doing Pilates 1 day a week. So I was going between the two. And then I think I started in November. And then by January, I said, I don't want to go to the gym anymore. I said, I want to do Pilates full time. Like, that's my workout. And we had to figure it all out, because like Pilates is not cheap. The gym is a lot cheaper. But I said, my health comes first before anything now. So, well, my kids come first and then my health, obviously. But and now I'm a Pilates buff. I go 3 to 5 times a week, sometimes 6.
Who are you?
Yeah, I even did like a double class before we went up to celebrations. I went in the morning and then I went at night as well. And
so just, I mean, I'm sure you catch yourself and just there's pinch me moments daily, but this woman who was, 160 kilos, brand new baby, 2 babies, KFC every day, 24 cans of Pepsi Max over 2 to 3 days. And now what do you weigh?
My best now is 93.5 kilos.
Amazing. That's so good.
So I've lost, just over 60. I think it's like 60.5 kilos, but I can say I hit that 60.
Yeah. And I know that was a big goal of yours. And I think that's really important, because I know, look, weight loss is always individual. And if I'm honest, I started Isagenix looking for another quick fix for me. And I know a lot of people do. You get a quick fix. Your results are testament to that, and mine as well. But I think what I found is that it really was a true way to maintain my health ongoing. Yes. And what I love about your story is that you were really committed to make a change for your future and for your family, to be that mum.
Yes.
And you weren't about doing it in, 1 month, 2 months, 6 months. It's been a journey for you. You've committed, you've recommitted, you've had peak periods where you were more committed probably than others. and challenges came up, but you always had that end goal in mind. And I know you're still going, wanting to hit the 200-pound club, which I think you'll be super small by then, but I think that's a great goal. I love that you've been really real about seeing it as a journey and following through with this vision that you had for yourself and your family. And I know I said something the other day to you, you know, your kids won't remember the mum that was lucky, but they're going to look back and there's going to be a lot of social media proofing of what you did for them. And, you know, that's what they're going to be able to look back at and go, wow, my mum is even more of a superhero than I had even imagined.
I know. I was like, because I look at all the photos around the house of like when Blake was born, because they're in my lounge room, and I look at that photo and I'm like, oh my gosh, I was like so big. And then I look at the one with Emily and I'm like, oh my gosh. I was like, we need to get updated photos because these ones I don't like anymore. But it was a reflection of who I was. Like I was still that person, whether I weighed 153 or I weighed 93. Like I was still, my personality hasn't changed. I feel like I've become a nicer person now because I was the biggest grump because I didn't want to do anything. But you just gotta roll with the punches back then, and that was how I lived. But
to say it's completely changed in the most positive way is an understatement, and especially I think after you've gone on this journey you've been quite proud and open online, but you've also been quiet a little bit about it, because I know you had 2 friends start this week. Oh yeah, it was 3.
Yeah,
that's right. Which is amazing because you've only ever had, you know, just the odd one here and there, which is fantastic, because after last weekend, what shifted in, and I saw this from afar in the messages we were sending each other, in the selfies you were sending me, something shifted at a cellular level for you, your confidence, your, I think watching from the outside was you've gone on this journey, you know, you're in your family life, you're at home, you're going about your Pilates and your daily activities, and people are congratulating you online, but to have that mass of people, for you to be able to share your story and you feel the energy come back from them when you shared that, was like, wow, this really is a big deal, which I think you already knew, but like, wow, this is on another level, and that you really have the power to really impact people's lives now, which I think is super exciting. It's something that you've never, you know, you're finding out now what you're capable of.
Yeah, like it was last weekend. Oh, I was so overwhelmed. I was so nervous before I went out on stage. I actually said to the audio guy that was standing there waving us out, I was like, oh my God, I'm going to vomit. And he's like, no, you're not. You're going to do fine. You're going to rock it. And I was like, thank you. That's what I needed. But the love and support that we have got, well, that I've got since coming off that stage, is just unbelievable. And to say that my confidence has changed, I'm sitting here on a call with you doing a Facebook Live. I just stood in front of, I don't know, 4,000 people last weekend, sharing my story about how I've lost weight and where I was. I was like, Phil hadn't even really heard some of that stuff until I had to go through it. And when you actually say it out loud as well, like when I haven't watched the video back yet because I'm still on
you still haven't? Wow.
I haven't. I was like, I've got to watch it. I was like, I'll do it this week. But yeah, I'm still on a high from being on stage. And to have come off that stage, I just had so many emotions, but I had so much happening like after I got off the stage that it just didn't sink in. Like I had photo shoots after getting off stage, and then I had like the 100-pound club. They all wanted to have a photo, and so nothing was sinking in. I don't even think I had actually been up there. Like in my mind, I was just like, okay. I was like, did that just happen, or was it a dream? Did I do it right? Because I don't actually know. So all these things were going through, and from all the messages that I've had, in the last week. It's been insane. Just people congratulating me and just saying that I did amazing. I was like, I really need to go back and watch it now, because I was like, seeing it from the stage, from my perspective, would be so different to how everyone else is seeing it. And it'd be interesting to actually watch it now. But
absolutely. And I said to you, don't watch it. Like, just stay in this high bubble that you're in.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think that alone has made so many shifts for you that just live in that for a bit. You can watch it.
Like, it's unbelievable now that, like, we've got some amazing people in our business, on our team, that we can just share our incredible journeys with. Like, I share it with everyone on Facebook, but some of our amazing people on our team, they've lost incredible amounts of weight. Like, we've got one girl that's lost over 25 kilos herself, another one that's almost ready to hit the 30 kilo mark. And they're all just so committed to them just being able to do it themselves, and just having our support. And because we've had these amazing journeys, I think that just gets portrayed onto everyone else. Like, it just, like, now I feel that it's just shining out of me, because I'm just so unbelievably excited to help people now. And that is a complete shift for me, because before I was just like, I want to do it for me. I want to do it for Phil and I. And now to be able to help even these 3 people that we signed up this week, I was just like, oh my God, I'm so excited. And I can't wait to just get the ball rolling with them and share their journeys with them, not just ours.
You know what they're about to feel.
Yeah.
And further to that, I'm excited for you to be able to do these kinds of calls with your people's people who have a phenomenal transformation just like you have. And if you didn't open your mouth, that's not going to happen for them.
Yeah.
And you don't know who they are yet, but they're out there, and they're networks of your networks who are looking for something just like you were. They're in that spot that you were at in 2016 when you said yes. So on that, let me ask you, what would you say to someone who's been sitting on the fence thinking about it, wanting to maybe give Isagenix a go and see if it is for them?
It's a 30-day money-back guarantee. I can't say any more. What we were doing wasn't helping us. And most of all, you've got to want to do it. You can't have someone preach the products to you, tell you that they work, if you don't want it yourself. You want to do it. Like, no one could have told me to lose weight. I wouldn't have done it. But you've got to have that mind shift, and one day you will. And if you want to come to us, because we'll always be here. I'm never coming off these products anymore.
That's a really great attitude to have, because it was interesting. I had that mentality at the start. I was like, no, you need this in your body, which I still think to this day every human does. But I think very much I come from the space of, I'm just going to be the example. I will hear you whinge and moan about this and that, but I can help you when you're ready. And you do. Like, people do need to be ready to want to make that change for themselves. And you're right, it's like 30-day money back guarantee, and it's real. I was like, as if.
Yeah, we said the same. I was like, I don't know how many times we said no. I think we said no for about 6 months before we actually said yes. So
don't worry. I've got people who are still coming to me after 4.5 years, and they've been watching my journey the whole time, and I love that, because they've just waited for their time. Yeah. And when they do start, they're having phenomenal results. So I'm really grateful that they've been able to watch, and I've been able to have that be that inspiration for them, just like you are. Every single year that you keep going along your journey, losing weight, being that inspiration, people are still watching you, Janelle, and some people just aren't ready yet.
Yeah, and that's completely fine. It's like I wasn't ready, like, when I got first asked, but you just come to
the person who asked you, Brett would have thought, no, they need it. Like, their mindset would have been like, no, they need it. But so it had to come from you. Oh, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing so much of your heart tonight, because it has been a real journey for you. And it's not only, in fact, I think the outside really is a bonus. It's what's happened on the inside for you.
Yes.
Your health has you're just glowing. You're shining. You're sparkly. You're the sparkly mum you wanted to be.
Yeah, it's been pretty amazing. Like the last, I think it's 21 months now. It's just been incredible, and I wouldn't have changed a single thing that we've done. Don't get me wrong, we've had bad weeks, days, months, as you do. You have stress and stuff, but the ease of this is just so, like, you can just jump back on.
Yeah.
So I was like, I just came off an 8-week challenge with my team. We finished that Sunday last week. And, I lost, I think, 5 kilos in that because I was strict for the 8 weeks.
Good timing.
Yeah, I know. I was like, good plan. Thanks, Christy. But, it was just, you do it when you're ready.
Yeah.
And that's all that matters. Like, once you're ready, that's all.
Oh, I love that.
Never be told. Well, I definitely couldn't have been. I wouldn't have like, people were telling me I was putting it on.
You weren't ready. It
No.
had to be for you, and your own line in the sand had to be drawn for you, deciding that it was time for that change. So
most definitely. And look at me now.
Yeah.
I'm over 60 kilos lost. I go to Pilates 5 times a week. I eat healthy now. I cook every meal. Like,
transformed woman. Or between
we have a cheat night every fortnight, though.
It's what?
We have a cheat night every fortnight.
Fair enough.
I was like, no, I'm not giving up. Like, it's pretty much just pizza.
I don't think and that's what I love about this program. I no longer need to say no to anything. It's really about balance. And that's that's the cool thing. That's why it's a lifestyle and so maintainable.
Yep, I completely agree. Like, people always say, how do you just live on shakes though? And I was like, they're so yummy.
I know, they're delicious.
I was like, oh my gosh. And the choc mint one tomorrow, because I had no more luggage left.
I know. And the sweet chili chips. Oh, I'm like, if you only bring one box home from Brisbane, stop. We should have chips on the couch tonight, but we don't have any left.
Well, I'm on day 1 of cleanse, so I was like, they came in handy today because I had a bit of a bad weekend.
Good. And so you know what? That's all part of life. You've had a lot to break this week. I'm going to start to wrap this up, I think, because we've had a good chat. Thank you so much for being my first guest tonight.
Thank you for having me.
It's been so good. I'm really grateful that you've, really been so honest and open about what's happened. So this is going to stay on Facebook. There's going to be lots of comments when we get off. So when you have time, you can go and see them all, because I'm sure everyone's like, oh my God, congratulations, which is so deserved. You should deserve to just continue to bask in this, because, it's been a journey for you and you've earned every single thing that comes your way.
Thank you. And you're amazing as well.
Oh, stop it.
Beautiful new mum, you.
I know. I'm like, she's had a few funny nights, and I'm like, right, I'm going to feed her 8:30, 9 o'clock. I'm like, Josh, go in the other room. She's quiet.
I was like, I didn't hear her once.
There was a little squawk in there, but I'm like, Josh, if she makes noise, you keep the door shut. All right, Janelle. So thank you so much. Have an amazing week. Thank you for sharing everything. And I'll speak to you soon.
See ya. Bye.
Yeah.